Welcome back, everyone, to this edition of Try Hard Racing with me, Roll Cage TV, where I do the best I can with what I've got, which isn't a lot of talent, but a whole lot of long-form content. Oh, I turned up my stream monitor, and that was too loud in my ears. I can't hear myself think. All right, we've gone through six. Oh, that's the right stick. I'm like, well, why is my cursor not changing? Because I'm hitting the wrong button. Gone through 6 events of season 4 here. So we're getting close. Getting close to getting to the top season, the top upgrade level for the Supersport. And then it's on to the Super Bike class. Still trying to decide how many seasons I'm going to do of the Super Bike class. It's unlikely to be 5 full seasons with each upgrade level. That was the original idea, but the game is pretty difficult. It's not getting any easier. Certainly won't be any easier when I go to the Super Bikes, because I'll be competing against Super Bikes. It's likely to get more difficult, since the bikes will be faster, harder for me to control, but you know what? Not harder for the AI to control. Okay. Free practice. Nope, we're going to skip that. We're just going to go right to the... Yeah, I know. Stop asking me. I'm going right to the... Going right to the qualifier. Right to this... See how fast I can do this. Go to the track map always, so that I can let them get ahead of me, because otherwise they will run into me, because I'm slow. Get all those purple arrows out of my way, out of the way of my blue arrow. Because I got the nice, pleasing blue arrow. Actually, I love purple. Green, favorite color. After that would be purple. Then blue as a base color. As an accent color, though, orange. Purple and orange I like together a lot. Green and orange I like together even more. Green and purple I like together a lot. Those are my 4 favorite colors. Yellow is meh. Red is ugh. All right. Have they all started? Oh man, they're halfway across already. Good. This will be a shorter, shorter for some than others. It's going to be a longer race for me than for any of the AI. Oh! Boy, that was really bounced. I should mention, close to the top. Ah! Oh, ow, 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 ow. Got it all the way. I should mention, I'm distracted by, I just now noticed my, on my bike, where the speedometer is, it almost looks see-through. I guess it's supposed to be silver, reflecting the scenery behind me, but it almost looks like it's see-through. That can't be true, is it? Is that like a HUD on... No, you don't look from there. Anyway, that wasn't what I was supposed to be mentioning. I was going to mention. And I do have SnowRunner. Been posting for a while as I'm recording this. Only about 4 episodes have gone up on my YouTube channel, but New series on my channel, new series on my stream on Twitch. If you are into SnowRunner, if you don't know what SnowRunner is, go look it up. Educate yourself. Don't ask me. It's, you heard of Spin Tires or Mud Runner? It's a sequel to that. I don't know what to say though. Those. Mud Runner was not exactly a sequel to Spin Tires. It was more of a commercialization of Spin Tires. Spin Tires being a independent indie game, and then Mud Runners being the like commercialized version of that. I guess is the best way of saying it. I don't know. It's not like I'm an expert on the whole series or anything. But yes, it's off-road hauler. That's the genre that I'm sticking to. The name of the genre I'm sticking to, because I like the name because I made it up. But it's very descriptive. It's a trucking simulator thing, but rather than like Euro Truck Simulator where you're driving on the freeway, or farming simulator where you're driving in a field. It's you're hauling stuff off-road. And Spin Tires was a good name for the original one because you get stuck in the muck a lot. Mud Runner, you get stuck in the mud a lot. Now SnowRunner, you can get stuck in the snow a lot. Not every location has snow though. In fact, it's interesting they called the game SnowRunner. It was originally going to be called Mud Runner 2, and then they changed it to SnowRunner. And I'm glad that they did not just call it Mud Runner 2, because it's so much more than just Mud Runner. Mud Runner was, as somebody put it on a video I watched recently, once you see SnowRunner, you look at Mud Runner and think that, wow, is this just a tech demo? Because SnowRunner is expensive, and people are like, well, a sequel to Mud Runner, which is like a $10 game, and this is like a $40 game. But no, there's way more than 4 times the content in SnowRunner than Mud Runner. Mud Runner is like a tech demo compared to SnowRunner. So yes, there is snow, but the first location you're in is Michigan in the fall, so there's no snow in the first location you start in. The game came with 3 locations. Michigan in the U.S., Alaska in the U.S., and Taymyr in Russia. Developers are Russian indie developers. Saber Entertainment, Saber Studios. I think Saber Entertainment. Saber is such a great name. Yeah, I'm gonna end the session here because that's good enough. Yes, I only need 1 qualifier. Last! It's so discouraging to see those gaps. Now, true, I only did 1 qualifier. If I'd have done more than 1, maybe instead of 55 seconds behind the leader, I'd be 53 seconds behind the leader, but still considerably more than the 7 seconds behind the leader of the guy in front of me. But I got my reward points. I got my 1,300 experience points. I'm moving up to level 100. Okay, where's the actual race going to be at now? Oh, good. It's only a single section, so this will be fast. So let's go there. Overcast, no rain to worry about. No rain motion blur to worry about. Yeah, let's just start. Oh, I didn't see what kind of starting method. Mass start, good. So I don't have to sit here and wait a minute and a half for everyone to go in front of me. Whoa, slow it down. Didn't matter. I think somebody hit me at the end. Yes, I caused a massive accident. Do I feel guilty about that? No. Not in the slightest. Not real people, just virtual life. Nobody actually got hurt. Oh, darn. No, I did not do that on purpose, but I am rather glad that he went down and I didn't. Yeah, I was talking earlier in the stream, last episode, about what game I would replace this with. Gotta see if, like, Road Rash is available on the Xbox. I could play that. If you don't know about Road Rash, well, what's the matter with you? Go ask your grandparents. It's, well, I would say an earlier video game, but probably came out before a lot of people watching this were born. Wasn't one of the earliest video games, but yeah, motorcycle game where you had motorcycle racing games where you had like chains and stuff. You could kick the guy next to you, or you could hit him with a chain, try to knock him down off the bike. You didn't have projectiles, but rough and tumble motorcycle racing game. Arcade game, obviously, not, you know, not any kind of realistic driving or anything. Literally an arcade game at first, then came to home consoles. Sega Genesis, I think I had the game on. What was the game? Or was that game I remember? Space Harrier? Space Harrier? Is that the name of the game? There was a game I really liked that I had on Sega Genesis that was based on an arcade game at the time, where you moved a character around on the screen. And had a very distinctive "Get ready" voice to it, which I think is they borrowed it from somewhere, or other video games that borrowed it. Yeah. Very Japanese video game sounding voice, not like with a Japanese accent, but it sounds a lot like classic Japanese video games, the way the voiceovers were there, the English voiceovers. And it was I don't know, was it a Sega game in the arcade? It might have been a Sega game in the arcade. So, may have been of Japanese development, I don't know. I think it was a Sega arcade game. There were quite a few, not quite a few, there were a handful. We were watching some YouTube videos trying to find out who exactly did the voiceover for some old classic video game. Because there's a handful of American, maybe British, American voiceover actors that went to Japan to do English voiceovers for things like "Get ready," you know, those little small vocal bits that are in the games that are very distinct, you recognize from later. and become famous. There's a handful of people over there that did those kind of English voiceovers that, you know, not the whole voice actor doing an entire character part, because this was back in the days when video games didn't have that. They just had little, you know, single sentence snippets. Game over, man. This one also had a game over. It was really dramatic. Anyway. How did I do? I think I came in last. Go figure. Alright. Ooh, this is it. The last race. Unofficial qualifying event, section 2. This will be fast. Last qualifier, then the last race for the season, and then we get to do the qualifier for the big race. Which will take 20 minutes. And then the final race. Oh, that's right. If I don't qualify, I'm probably not going to do the final race. Maybe I'll do one lap around rather than the 4 laps. Because I've had technical issues. The final race in the Supersport edition is can get ahead of me. The final race in the Supersport edition is bike class, is 4 laps around the full course. Now the full course takes 20 to 25 minutes. 20 for them, 25 for me. And after, so that's like 2 hours. So I split it up into two YouTube videos. You have to hit halfway through anyway. But the last 2 times I've tried to do it, the game sounds died close to the end of the first hour. And I want to do it without game sounds. Now, I did not play the actual race. I played a custom race that mimics the actual race, because I didn't qualify for the actual race. Oh wait, is this free practice? Yeah, we're skipping this. No free practice. We're gonna do the actual qualifier. Now let's look at the track map. I mentioned earlier in the stream, previous YouTube episode, I've got new internet equipment I need to set up. It's Xfinity. They have a new gateway. It's not called a modem, it's a gateway. And I can do the setup on they've got an Android app. I can do the setup from there. But I'm wondering, do I have to use like my phone? Do I need a data connection? Because my phone is terrible. My roommate has a phone that has a good plan that has unlimited data, but my plan is terrible. It's on my list of things to do to get a better plan. If I can get a better plan, it'll save me enough money that I can upgrade my stream to take advantage of the new gateway, which is what I'm hoping to do. But my tablet is connected to Wi-Fi to the old modem. Well, to the router that's attached to the old modem. So the question is, I let them get ahead of me because I'm going to be slower than them. In case you're wondering why I was sitting there. It wasn't just old man trying to figure out what I'm doing next in life. yeah, I don't know if anybody knows Xfinity, the new Xfinity app, setting up the internet. Can you do it on a tablet that is connected to the internet during this with the same on the same modem that you're replacing, basically, right? Now, it might be possible. I mean, the app might talk you through, okay, now that you've unplug your old modem, and obviously you're going to lose your internet connection, but we've got all the information saved on your tablet. You know, the app doesn't need the internet to run. Now go you know, do this, that, or the other to connect to the Wi-Fi to the new modem, and then finish the update after you do that. I mean, that's one possibility. Because it's probably, you know, initially when you set it up, it's probably not, it's just an open, it's not a secured connection, secured Wi-Fi connection, which is, you know, I'm not thrilled about doing. I'd rather set it up immediately with a secured connection. But if I only have the Android attached to it and not like a PC, I'm a little bit more protected. The Android file system is not as open as, say, a PC's file system to cause trouble. But I want to reuse the same. When I've replaced the router in the past, I've set the Wi-Fi code, the password. It's at one point randomly generated code. Replace that with reset that with the same code that it's been. That way, all my old devices can still connect on Wi-Fi. Because I don't even know how many devices I got. I've got a lot of devices, and they're all pretty much still used. There's like 4. In this household, we would call it a household, all sharing in the same internet connection in the apartment here. There are, I think, 4 Nintendo 3DSs of various ages, 4 phones, or more, 4 different tablets at least. Another Xbox, a lot of things connected to this Wi-Fi that I have to go back and dig them all out and reset them all. I mean, and like, I've got an old 3DS somewhere that I would want to. It's conceivable that I would pull out to play an old 3DS game. My roommate still plays 3DS games, and so, well, both of my roommates play 3DS games on occasion. Now, those games, really, you play them locally, but still download updates and stuff. Or we used to play 3DS games and as a group. The nice thing about the 3DS is you can, you know, like play in a group. All right, let's end the session. How did I do? Yes, that's good enough. Oh, only 36 seconds behind. That's not too bad. That's like only 7 times the gap. Actually, 6 times. 6 seconds from 9th to 1st, and then 36 seconds between me and first place. So there we go. If I can get within twice the distance of, if I can get my gap below twice my gap, if you look on the right side of the second column, gap, my gap all the way down to the bottom is 36.7 seconds. The person in front of me, their gap is 5.9 seconds. Ideally, I would like to get my gap to be less than twice the person ahead of me, their gap, which means that my gap to him would be smaller than his gap to the leader. And they're all hims, unfortunately. That's my goal. And occasionally I meet that goal. But that tells you how far away I am from actually finishing even ninth, even second last. If my goal is to get within double their gap. First to ninth is only like 5 seconds apart. It's very tight rubber banding, which is one of the things that drive me crazy. Okay, final race. Full circuit. So probably 3 laps? 3 laps, yes. Okay, hold the start. So this will probably take us through the second hour, and then the qualifier will be the third hour of the stream, which is only going to take 20 minutes or so, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably fail the qualifier. Maybe I'll try it first person view. Maybe I'll do the second. Maybe I'll do 2 laps of qualifier. First person view and then third person view. I never tried third person view. See what the difference in times are going to be. Yes, let's start. Let's just go. Oh, I nailed the start that time. And I have anti-wheelie all the way up, so I didn't bother to try to smooth start and lean forward or anything. So I got a slower start than I could have because I did wheelie extreme, but I've got the anti-wheelie on so I won't fall off. I have everything on as far up as I can get it. Ow! Except my TCS is only on 2. There we go. I don't know how that happened. I mean, I kind of know how that happens. It happens because I hit the wrong button and end up changing it. Unintentionally. I'm wondering if anybody is going to come into the stream today and tell me how awful I'm doing. Feel free to leave a YouTube comment. Tell me how awful I'm doing. Feel free to leave as many negative YouTube comments as you want, because that helps increase my engagement numbers. My views have been a little bit down, but I think they're starting to pick back up. They had been a little bit down for a couple weeks. Started the SnowRunner series, and I'm kind of competing with myself because I'm releasing 2 YouTube videos a day now on my YouTube channel, which is going to lower my number of views per video, but it had started to go down before that, but I think it's starting to pick up again now. I haven't had a SnowRunner video really take off yet, like I've had other videos take off. I had a Dirt Rally 2 video is my fairly recent, from a month or so ago, my most viewed video. Before that, I think my most viewed video, oh, it might have been I know I had a Minecraft video that did really well. I think there was a Civilization video that did really well. I'm looking, I streamed this on a Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow is going to be my second SnowRunner stream, which I do on Sunday afternoons, 12:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time, which right now is UTC plus 6, plus 6, minus 6, minus 6. Yeah, SnowRunner's been a lot of fun. I've been all week. I've been looking forward to playing it on stream again. Had a pretty decent crowd going in the stream. last Sunday. Expecting similar today. A few people that said they were going to show up last week weren't able to show up, so maybe they'll show up this week. Come on. I try to keep a lot of those reactions to myself. Otherwise, I would just be here flinching and screaming the entire race. I last stream of SnowRunner. Yes! Oh! I had saved it. I thought I had saved it. I hadn't saved it. Get off of the sidewalk, dude. Sorry. Alright. That time I saved it. First SnowRunner stream. SnowRunner can be really slow starting, and it can be very discouraging because you start without good tires, you start without good equipment. And even though the first location, the first map of the first location is easy compared to some of the other locations, it's easier, but you're not prepared for the first location because you don't have full all-wheel drive on a lot of your vehicles. You don't start off with all-wheel drive on your hauling vehicles, just your scout vehicles, and you don't have good tires. You're stuck in the mud constantly. It took me to get through Michigan, the first location, the first time I played, literally took me 200 hours of gameplay. And if I did that with a YouTube stream where I'm playing about an hour, where I play about 5 hours a week, actually play more like 6 hours, but let's say I do 5 hours a week, YouTube videos and stream. 200 hours at 5 hours a week is 40 hours, so I would not be finishing the first location until Thanksgiving 2024. Right now it's February 2024. So Thanksgiving, in case you guys from other locations don't know, and in the US is last week late November. So yeah, 40 weeks. You know what 40 weeks is? 40 weeks is a long time. It's like 9 months. To finish the first location. Now, the original game only came with 3 locations. But now there's 15 locations in the game with all the yearly passes, and they just announced another yearly pass, which is going to bring the total number of locations up to 19. And if it took me 200 hours, it wouldn't, but if it took me 200 hours to do every location, for 19 locations, that'd be like 14 years, I think I figured out. I'm not going to do that. I may not even be here for 14 more years. I'm an old man. No, I'm not doing a 14-year YouTube series. / Twitch series. So I am accelerating the start. And I'm doing that 2 ways. One is I'm using DLC vehicles that are much better than the vehicles you would normally start the game with. And the second thing I'm doing is I'm grinding out levels at the start in order to level up my yeah, level. You find equipment throughout the game, like you find upgrades and you find other vehicles and things. You find upgrades to your current vehicles and things. So like you can add all-wheel drive to a particular vehicle, or you can add lockable differentials and things like that. You can add better engines and stuff like that. Now with the DLC cars that I'm using, you don't have to find those upgrades, but you do have to get to a certain experience level. And the most important thing is the tires. And you have to get up to a certain experience level to get mud tires, for example. You start off with highway tires, and then you can get all-terrain tires, and then off-road tires, and then mud tires and chain tires eventually, right? Now the chain tires you don't really need to get to the second location, which is Alaska, where there's ice. But with the DLC, you have to upgrade your experience level. And fortunately, there's a way to grind out experience, because there are these contests you can do. They call them contests. You can do over and over again, timed challenges. And at least the ones in Michigan are very easy to do and get the top levels, top scores. And you get significant amount of XP for this one that only takes between 3 and 4 minutes to do, and you get 340, I think, experience points. So when you're first starting out, you have only about 1,000 experience you need to get from level 3 to 4 or whatever. So it only takes 3 times through to get to level 4, and then, as it goes up, it takes longer and longer to get to each level. But I was able to get up to level 21 from level 3 by just running the same thing over and over again. The last stream was 6 hours and 48 minutes long, much longer than I wanted it to take. And in about that much time, it took me to get my levels improved. And that's what I did during this last week. Played about an hour a day for last week. So it's an estimate. I haven't played for a couple days, but I didn't play for a couple of the days. I played for a couple hours listening to a podcast or something and running this same challenge over and over again, same contest over and over again. So, and the reason I feel justified in doing that is, one, I don't want to take 14 years to go through the city. I don't want to take 9 months to get through the first location, which if I had it to do over again, I could probably do it in less than 200 hours. It still might be 100 hours or something. Even with the DLC vehicles, it would take me many hours until I could get leveled up and I can get all the best equipment for the DLC vehicles. And when there are only 3 locations in the game, okay, I could, it's a progression through the game. It makes sense. I've done it once, not on stream, but progression through the game where you start with the lowest vehicles and you gain experience, and eventually you build up your level to, hold on a second. I forgot to mess with my microphone during my stream break, which seems to help when I do that. Someone told me if I plug the controller in, I won't get those clickies in this game, but no other game does that. It's just this game, which is another reason to be disappointed in this game. Not just my performance. Oh, what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, so because when there's only 3 locations, if you do every challenge, every contest, every what they're called contests, these timing events, if you do every contest once, you don't repeat them, but you do them all once, and you do all the local tasks, and you do all the contracts, which are like regional tasks. You do everything else. You find all the watchtowers. You do all the things that would normally give you experience in the game. If you do all that, you would get to approximately level 20, 21 by the end of Michigan. Now, that's a nice natural progression through the game, because then the last two locations, so about a third of the way through the game, you're going to have all the XP you need to run with better vehicles. You're going to find better vehicles, and then you'll be set up for the second 2/3 of the game. And they only go up to level 30 experience, which was okay when there are only 3 locations, because it takes longer and longer through. By the end of Alaska, maybe you'll be at level 30, where it takes you 20 levels through the first location. Second location is going to take you the same amount of time, will only get you 10 levels rather than 20 levels, because it takes longer and longer to increase your levels. But with 19 locations, what that means is you're going to be playing 18 of those locations with upgraded equipment, and one of those locations with terrible equipment that is going to take forever. And it seems like the natural progression is going to be lost anyway, because 1/19 of the game will be building up your equipment, rather than 1/3 of the game. 1/19 of the game will be building up your equipment, and then the rest of it will be just using your best equipment. So what I decided to do is now you can set up what's called a New Game Plus, where I could have automatically just given myself the 20 levels that I needed. It's actually 21 to fully upgrade all the equipment that I start the game with. I could have started on level 20 as New Game Plus. But I had 3 things to decide. I had 3 choices. None of them were ideal. One is I would just spend 100 some hours. Having it to do over again, I could do it in less than 200 hours, but play really, really frustrated, even with the better equipment, without it being upgraded. Take many more hours to get through the first location, and not be fully upgraded until after the first location, and then do another 18 locations with upgraded vehicles. Or I could start myself off boosted at level 20, and then I could do Michigan in the same amount of time I would do the rest of the locations, saving myself quite a bit of time. Or I could, but the problem with that is then it wouldn't be an actual career mode. It would be a New Game Plus mode, which in this case I guess it would be New Game Minus, because that would make it easier. That's a beautiful game that you can customize all kinds of ways. You make it. There's a hard mode, there's a normal career mode, there's a hard career mode, and then there's New Game Plus, which lets you change every option individually. So you can make the game even harder than hard mode, or you can make the game somewhere between normal mode and hard mode, or you can make the game much easier, easy mode. I'm calling my playthrough easy mode. Originally I was going to choose that option, make it a New Game Plus, but I decided I didn't want to really do that, because then I'd be playing most of the career with it not as a real career mode. It would always be tainted as being a boosted start game. It would always say New Game Plus. It would always show the options that I set. I knew from other experience with other games I played that would get to me after a year, or however long the series is going to be, right? A couple of years maybe. So I decided, no, I'm going to play a normal career mode, but rather than taking 100 hours or so to get through the first thing, I was going to just take the time to grind out levels, which I'm used to doing. I play RPG games and stuff where grinding out levels is something that you just do. You can't beat the final boss necessarily the first time you face them, so you go back to earlier opponents and beat up on them until you get enough experience levels to upgrade your character, and in RPG find new equipment and stuff to upgrade your character so that you can face a big boss, not necessarily the final boss, but a big boss. You get to a big boss, not a final boss, but whatever they call them. Can't remember. You can't beat a boss the first time through, and if you're like me, you can't beat them the 10th time through either until you get yourself upgraded to the point where you have a good chance of beating them. Well, how you face that is you take a few hours to go back and you can repeat in RPGs usually. Diablo-like games. I played Titan Quest, which I think is the best game of that genre. You can go back and you can play against easier. You get diminishing returns on your experience, but you still get some experience by beating up on lesser character, on minions. Until you get enough experience level, you can upgrade your character, and then you got a good chance of beating the boss. Not the first try, within the first few tries, rather than, because you don't get any experience for failing against the boss multiple times over. So I'm used to grinding. That's called grinding in those kind of games, where you go out and you spend a lot of time not progressing the storyline, but building up your character. So with the way SnowRunner is, and you can't do this in hard mode, but in the basic career mode, you can rerun these contests over and over again, gaining experience levels, also gaining money by doing them, which is another reason for grinding in RPGs. You get more and more gold. You can buy better equipment then, not just find better equipment. So what I decided to do is that was what I was going to do. I was going to grind out levels. And then in the first stream, which took up the first 6 YouTube episodes, I was just doing preliminary kind of stuff that I could do with my unupgraded vehicles. My scout vehicles, the DLC scout vehicles, have good enough tires and things to start off with that I could get through some of the initial scouting of the first map, that sort of thing. So I had 6 hours worth of stuff I could do, 6-7 hours worth of stuff I could do without getting all the best equipment, the best engines, the best winches, the best tires, all that stuff. The downside of doing it that way is I had 2 choices: either spend an entire 7 hours of video watching me do nothing but grinding out levels, which might be okay for a stream, but definitely not okay for 7 episodes of YouTube videos of me just doing the exact same thing over and over again. Would be kind of boring. So the other option was to do it off stream, in the background. And I wanted it to be like my style is, okay, you get to see it all either on Twitch or on YouTube. You get to see the entire career, everything, whatever I'm doing. I don't play this game here that I'm playing, the TTL Man 3. I don't play it off stream, that is outside of the YouTube videos either. On the side, I don't sit there and do a bunch of practice and stuff like that. You get to see me through the entire career. Now, when I did like Minecraft, I'd occasionally go into my Minecraft world and do some things. But for the most part, you get to see everything. And I wanted to do that with SnowRunners as well, where I'm going through the career completely on stream, on screen, recorded. But that was the one thing I decided I had to let go. So I did the grinding in between the first and second stream, so between episodes 6 and 7 on YouTube, I will suddenly leave episode 6, stream 1, on level 3, near the top of level 3, and come back in the next stream / episode 7 at level 21 with everything being able to be fully upgraded. So, but that is the only thing that is not going to be on stream. It's possible that near the end of a location, I might, if there's a bunch of trailers laying around the world that I have to spend some time taking back to sell, which is something you do when you're done with the location, because you can get money for the trailers, and you can't take them with the trailers. You can't take with you to the next location. The trucks you can, but not the trailers. So it's possible that I'll do that on stream and make it a bonus YouTube episode, but it won't be part of the actual series. If I have like an hour of just sitting there pulling trailers back to the trailer store to sell. But I'm going to try to do that as I use up a trailer. You can find trailers throughout the world. You not just buy trailers. You can find trailers throughout the world that have materials on them that you need for a particular task, do the contract. And when a trailer empties out because you've already turned in the materials, well, that trailer might as well be taken back immediately to the trailer store, because it doesn't cost you anything more to buy a trailer than you can sell it back to in the basic game. That's one of the options you can set in New Game Plus, and in hard mode you can't even sell the trailers back, so they just clutter up the world. Can you delete them? I don't even delete them if they're... Otherwise, they take up some amount of this space, processing space. The game has to keep track of where they are, and they're scattered around the globe. Anyway, so what I want to try to do is clean up as I go along, and when I finish out a task that uses up a trailer, I'll just take that trailer back to the trailer store, sell it, get the money, and then if I need another trailer of that type, well, I can always buy a new trailer of that type, and it won't cost me any more money than it cost than I got to sell the one, because I sell it back at 100% the cost, which is not very realistic. But in real life, you buy a brand new trailer and then you use it and beat it all up and drag it through the mud and drive it off a cliff and whatever else, then you try to sell it back. The guy's probably not going to give you the same amount of money for it. You can damage your vehicle in the game. You can't damage the trailer. Trailer damage would be an interesting thing to add to the game. There is a new game. The people that made SnowRunner do have a new game coming out, but it's not really going to be a sequel. It's not advertised as a sequel. It's a spin-off game. It's going to be called Explorations, a Mud Runner game, which is going to be less doing tasks with big vehicles and more about scouting and Easter egg hunting and stuff. So my impression is it's going to be it's only going to have one aspect to the SnowRunner game, the initial scouting. But again, that's just my impression, and people I've talked to and people that they've talked to that they've told me about it basically said, I'm into I'm into SnowRunner, I'm into the big vehicles, doing the tasks, that's why I bought the game. I'm not really into just the scouting part. The scouting part is okay, but I wouldn't want to play a whole game that's nothing but scouting, so I'm probably not going to buy the new game. And I'm the same way. I'm not going to buy... I wait until games are more mature anyway, because I like having the DLC content. If it's a game that's going to have DLC content, like SnowRunner's been out for 3 years, and they've got 3 years worth of extra content, and they've got a 4th year of extra content. Every year, every 3 months or so, they come out with a new location. why there's 15 locations now, because there's 3 original locations, then 3 years worth, which is 12 seasons worth of new locations as add-ons. And I like that. I like having everything together and being able to play through a mature game. Hopefully a little bit less buggy as well. So, though I may eventually get the new game, it won't be anytime soon, I don't think. And we'll see how that game matures. But it's not going to be a SnowRunner 2 or anything like that, which I think may have been what people were expecting at first, but it's much less of an ambitious game. And people were worried, okay, well, they're sunsetting SnowRunner, they've got this new game coming out, they're going to sunset it, and there isn't going to be a 4th year of DLC content. But then little hints were dropped that maybe there would be a 4th season. People found in the game files a file for Season 4 stub, and then they announced they came out with Season 12, the last season, the fourth and final season for the Year 3 pass. And at the same, like the day before that came out, 2 days before that came out, they officially announced that yes, there will be a Season 4, and here's what the Season 4 content's going to be. Here are the locations that Season 4 is going to be and what the theme's going to be. I don't know if they announced all the locations. They announced the themes. The first 3 themes they announced, and the 4th theme they keep a secret till the end. The first 3 seasons so far have had like 2 maps for each location. Fairly big maps. One only had 1 map. It's kind of a weird season. It's like more of a multiplayer season, multiplayer location, more racing kind of things. That was my cat's collar rattling. But for the most part, the first 3 seasons are 2 maps, 2 larger maps, and then the last season of the year has had 4 maps. And I don't know if they've been like the original 3 locations all had 2 large maps and then 2 smaller maps for the 4 maps. I don't know if they were the same way. I haven't explored any of the DLC maps yet, the season pass maps, whether they're the same sort of 2 large and 2 small maps for a season. Oh, my kitty cat is here to eat more of his food. Good. He needs to eat more of his food. So yes, they have not sunset SnowRunner, and they're continuing it for another year. I'm expecting that it's going to take me a year to get through the first 15 maps on my Let's Play, and so I'll be able to move right into maps 16 through 19 when they come out. Which I'm looking forward to it, definitely. Love the game, very relaxing game, unlike this. I play this game very relaxed because I know I'm going to finish last. But it's not, one thing about this game is I can just sit here on autopilot, try to focus a little bit on what I'm doing. I mean, I do better if I focus on what I'm doing, but I can just sit here and chat, and you know, I turn this into a casual game by sitting here and chatting and you know, not really focusing on the competitive aspect of the race, on the racing aspect of the game, because I'm all alone on the road all the time, because everybody else is in front of me. I'm not pushing for a podium finish or anything like that, or even pushing for 9th place out of 10. It's it doesn't discourage me personally to play a game where I can't even come close to beating the AI. I'm too old to worry about stuff like that. But it does concern me publishing content on Twitch and YouTube where I'm just finishing last all the time. So this is that's why I call this series a clown career playthrough, because if I had it to do over, maybe I'd call it casual career playthrough or something like that. It's not your typical racing game playthrough, challenging for first place, action-packed. Oh, can our hero finish first in the final race, and or get on the podium? Can he finish the season in first place? Ooh, fighting for podium positions every race. Ooh. If he wins the last race, he'll win the championship. Will he do it? No, that's not me, and I think that's not this game, to be quite honest, because the rubber banding is so tight. Most people are gonna not have any chance of finishing in first place, and the people that can finish in first place will finish in first in every race, because it's hard to finish. It's harder to finish third than it is to finish first. If you've got the talent to finish first, you're going to finish first. If you don't have the talent to finish first, you're not going to finish third. You're going to finish ninth at best, because the rubber banding is so tight. Which is disappointing. It wasn't the case in the earlier versions of this game. That'd be something I wish they would improve. Most racing games have much looser rubber banding, where you're going to have a lead group that's fighting for the front, you're going to have a end group that's the stragglers, and then you're going to have a middle group that's more evenly distributed throughout. It's kind of how a lot of real life races are, right? You only got a few people that are really fighting for the top, and you've got stragglers, maybe less experienced, that are, always a lap down, perpetually at least one lap down. And then you've got everyone else who's kind of spread out through the middle. Auto racing races that way. I don't know about other racing. I'm assuming it's the same way. Speaking of other racing, there's a video going around of speed skater from China. It's a women's speed skating international competition. And speed skating is done to set this up, speed skating is done on basically a hockey arena, right? It's that size. It's not like a whole big, it's not the size of a track and field track that's, 400 meters around. It's, it's the size of a hockey rink, which is not very large. And so each lap is not very long. But they'll have long races where, comparable to a mile long, or whatever it is, I guess. What would it be? 1,000? No, yeah. 2,000 meters or something? I don't know. What's a mile long race in metric? More or less. It's 406. 100 meters instead of 100 yards. 400 meter is one lap around, so 1,600 meter race. 4 laps around. So something like that. Anyway, a race of that, when you're running that length, you can't just sprint the entire way. Longer than a sprint, in other words. It's not a marathon, but it's a race where you have to start off pacing yourself, and then then you sprint for the last lap or something like that. Well, in a big track, it'd be the last lap you'd be sprinting, and figure skating with the smaller laps, last several laps or something, you're going all out. Well, in this race, the one competitor, she was from China, she had a different technique, and it might break the sport, to be honest, which is why it's getting so much attention. Rather than starting off pacing, she just burst out of the gate. And now in track and field, just running, you're doing a mile race. I'm going to say mile because I'm from America. If you're doing a 400 meter race or a mile race, you're going to, not 400 meter, 1600 meter race. You're not going to be able to sprint the whole way. You're going to start off pace at a pace, a pretty heavy pace, and then speed up, right? So the first lap, if you spent the first of 4 laps going all out, you'd be completely burnt out by the end of the first lap. You'd never be able to compete to spend your kick lap going all out and competing. You'd be wasted. You'd be easily caught if you tried to go all out at first. You'd then slow down and die, and everyone would make up that lap, and more so, you end up finishing way back in the field. But here's the differences with speed skating. One is it's a much smaller course. 2 is aerodynamics are so much more important, which means drafting is so much more important. So I wonder if anyone's ever tried this in a bicycle, indoor bicycle track race. Wish I could remember the name. Velodrome? Anyway, which also is about aerodynamics is important. Well, in speed skating, aerodynamics is important. And sometimes if you've got a teammate, one will draft the other, like in a bicycle race, one will draft the other, and then they'll switch positions, whatever. So here's how this works in speed skating, and this is what the skater in question took advantage of. She went all out on the first lap, did not lap the field, but got to the back of the field, right? So she's in first place in the race, though she's at the back of the pack, because she went all out on the first lap. And everyone else was, the competitors were, I'm sure, like, oh, what is she doing? She's going to burn herself out. And so they wrote her off. But meanwhile, now that she's gotten through the first lap and it's at the back of the pack, she can draft off of everybody else that's ahead of her and get her wind back, recharge her batteries, whatever. And now she can, all she has to do is go at pace the rest of the way. And then when they start kicking up the speed at the end, she's still behind them drafting, and so again it's easier for her to pick up the speed during the last couple laps, and so she can stay at the back of the pack even if she gets separated a little bit. She's a lap ahead, effectively. She's almost a lap ahead. And it almost appeared that the rest, in fact, it didn't almost appear. The bell rang for the last lap, the bell lap, but it was the last lap for her. It wasn't the last lap for everyone else, right? The bell rang when she crossed the line of her penultimate lap, second to last lap, and at the end of her second to last lap, at the start of her last lap. But for everybody else, they had just started their second to last lap. So they came around the front of the pack. Other than her teammate, they were all stretching. Her teammate was one of the first 3 or 4 that finished in that group. And she knew she was on her second to last lap, finishing her second to last lap. But the other racers, they were like stretching out to try to finish first because they thought they were in first place because they forgot about the person that had already lapped and came around behind them, that she's actually the one in first place. So those people slowed down thinking that they were on their cool-off lap, except for her teammate who knew she was on her second to last lap, and I'm sure a few others too, but they weren't as fast as the teammate was. And so they ended up taking first and second place, the Chinese team. The person that won had a much easier race after the first lap. People lost track of her. John Boy Media did a video on it, but the video's been around other places. I'm sure you could, ABC Sports or whatever, YouTube channel, other places would feature it. Just Google it, just Bing it. So, how did I do? Let's see. Oh, see, only 4 times. The person ahead of me, a minute and a half, or yeah, the gap is a minute and a half, and my gap is, yeah, my gap is 6 minutes, so that's 4 times, right? Yeah, that's not bad. I finished last, as I do, but anyway. And that is going to be it for the unofficial events. Next is the actual qualifier for the race. I'm going to take a break here, and then when I come back, I think we're going to do 2 laps around the full course. I'm going to do one in first person, and then I'm going to try to do the second one in third person. See if I can actually qualify. So, yeah, we'll see. If I do two laps, the audio might cut out in between, but we'll see. We'll go until either the audio cuts out or I finish 2 laps. One or the other. We'll get to compare my time. So the first lap is always going to be longer than the second lap, I imagine. It's an out lap. Although you start with the autopilot. So. Anyway, it is time for me to take a break. If you're watching on YouTube, that's going to be it for this YouTube episode. The next episode will be out in the next weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, at 6:30 p.m. at 6 p.m. U.S. Central Time. But if you're watching on Twitch, stick around, take a quick couple-minute break here, and be back. So either way, YouTube or Twitch, I will see you then.